Verkedric Vaughns is our speaker tonight, and I am so excited. I met him when I spoke at Baylor. I was at Baylor 2 or 3 times in 2017, and then I think once in 2018. So anyway, and it was impactful. It made a forever impression on my heart. It changed me. It bonded me to a team that we might talk about later, that somebody wrote in my book when I left Baylor that day. I didn't find it till the next day. I was speaking at Alabama, and it said, "Thank you for coming for us. We thought the whole world forgot us." And I was like, wow, like it was powerful, and it shaped who I am today. And so he's going to tell you a little bit about his story and what that was like being at a college that I'm gonna take the words out of his mouth, but I'm gonna let him tell you what that was like. But we exist, PALS exist once a month, and this is a free resource. And some people can join live, and we love you if you can join live. But for some people, we understand that they catch the replay later. And Emma, our lead creator, does an amazing job of doing that. But we exist, a free monthly resource Zoom call, inspiration, business tips, trading tips, financial health and wellness, mental health and community and inspiration, because we are PALS, player alignment liaisons, former and current student athletes and the mentors and coaches that love them. And so we saw a need. Trey shared that with me, and so many athletes have shared that with me, and we saw a need and we created this. And Trey is the person that leads this up. And so I want to give it over to Trey, and then we'll let V start.
Hey, thanks, Rachel. Y'all, what's up, man? I don't know why I always feel like this energy when I'm talking to y'all, but I appreciate it. My voice is gone. I'm in my gym right now, grinding. And Verkedric, man, like I ain't had a really chance to be able to connect personally, but we all excited about hearing your story. And y'all, this is, like I said, I told Rachel just every time I probably speak to her, like we're building for the long term. Like these connections that we're establishing now, I promise you're going to pay dividends later. For me, I had a beauty of being connected with Rachel for almost like a few years now, like you, Verkedric. Now we're starting to see like, wow, connecting, networking, putting in good seeds in the soil. Ken, if you're not like, yeah, like y'all, it's starting to come forth, like fruit starting to come off the tree. And it's our job to make sure that we can be able not to reach back, but to hold hands with our brothers and sisters that are in our same shoes, that have had the same resources, that had the same talent, that's had the same networks, and be able to leverage those so that we continue to go forward. And that's how, for me personally, that's how I'm changing the narrative. So, man, look, y'all, please tune in every call. Y'all always feel that feeling leaving, the motivation. Like tap in, take notes, listen up, because he got a word to share, and I'm excited to hear it too. All right, Rachel, look, I ain't gonna go too much in, Rachel. I'm gonna press mute on.
All right, V, you take it away, dear.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Trey. You know, I'm happy to be here. Also, Rachel and all of you guys. It's a big step for me because, you know, like you said before, being a part of that Baylor scandal, you know, I'm probably one of the first guys to ever speak out publicly about, you know, all the issues that we encountered during that time. But for a little bit about myself, for you guys that don't know me, my name is Verkedric Vaughns. I'm a Baylor graduate, went there from 14 to 19, grew up in a city east of Dallas, is Mesquite, Texas. You know, I was raised by my mom, 3 kids at 18. Then my grandma died when she was 19. So, you know, growing up, it wasn't always the best, but I can tell you my mom did her best because my brother, he was the first to graduate college, and, you know, I was the second. And my middle sister, she actually got her degree after me. So, and I'm the youngest, but yeah, I really want to thank God for, you know, that path, because it made us who we are today. But starting off with, I want you guys to remember this letter that I wrote to myself in 8th grade at Baylor. I think I got my coach here. On here is Coach Reed. He actually is a witness to that letter. I actually wrote a letter to myself in 8th grade saying that I want to go to Baylor, but I had no clue my senior year that I was going to go to Baylor at all. I wanted to sign like somewhere, either Tech or somewhere East Coast or up north. I didn't want to stay in Texas, but God said, you're staying in Texas. And sure enough, I was at Baylor and I opened that right after signing day. So that was a cool little story that I always shared, that always motivated me to actually like keep going at Baylor. But as far as the mental side aspect with Baylor, I mean, when I first got there, being coached hard, there's a fine line. You got to be coached. You got to get coached, be coachable, and being tough is one of the things that coaches always. And I was a former coach, and that's always what I preach. But being at a high level and being a business person, being tough is a fine line between speaking up and knowing when there's something wrong with you, than being tough. Because a lot of guys that I've myself included, being tough is not just not saying that you're not hurt, or you're not you don't feel the pain or something in that area. You always got to speak up when something's wrong. Like, and that's what a lot of my teammates didn't do, and myself included. I'm saying that because I haven't slept on my shoulders since 2015, and I haven't got an MRI. I haven't got anything since 2015. I've been sleeping on my back ever since. And it's like, what if I would have, said, hey, my shoulders hurt, but I had that attitude. It's like, I'm the toughest, so I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm feeling the consequences now. Like, I literally can't sleep on my shoulders for more than, 5 minutes to start burning. But that's what's come with football, though. Also, so it's a fine line between that. But I never complain about one injury. But speaking up for the mental aspect of sides, is like going through that scandal at Baylor. I also won 2 Big 12 championships at Baylor, and I saw it go from up, and when we was getting praised a lot in Waco, and then we went 1-11 2 years after that. Yeah, we went 1-11. And so that transition where the scandal came out, it was tragic for the whole city. We are so young, and we don't know. We're so young-minded when we go to college that we don't really know how it really affects us in the moment. We just live it. And so I was just talking to one of my friends, Raja, about that, and he didn't even know either. Like, we was all really depressed. Nobody really wanted to talk to the football players after the scandal. It was like, you can't even go to class and sit by anyone. Some of the professors, they kind of gave us a hard time. Restaurants, they calling us rapers, and the whole city of Waco just completely shut down. And I remember for me, how it affected me. I'll say it, be blunt with it. I was at a 3.7 my sophomore year. I was starting when it happened, and my GPA dropped to a 3.2. I made all C's. I never made a C since high school. I never made a C, and I stopped going to class. I just completely stopped going to class. I would do the bare minimum, show up on test days, and pass my test with a C and barely get through, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to go through that anymore. And I've saw a lot of people a lot of my teammates just straight drop out of school because of the scandal, quit football, transfer, and didn't finish at the other school, and guys that wanted to finish couldn't finish because of the certain circumstances that were brought forth. But it's like, we really, in the city of Waco, I want to say the classes from 2014 to 2017, 13 to 17, we really went through that change where it was like, do we really want to play football anymore? Because it was just that. And we've been playing it all our lives. And it's like, when you have that, basically that momentum and that drive and that praise stripped from you, you really don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. You can go to class, you can go to practice, but it was like, it got to a point where nobody even want to practice anymore, because it was just, that was the energy around it. And, I want to thank Coach Rule for going there and doing his best with, transitioning from the scandal to bringing Baylor back to its name, because I know that's not an easy job for coaching a coach to do, and he did his best with that. And you know, another thing with me, what I dealt with was about my appearance. You know, during that time, during that scandal, it kind of goes hand in hand. I was a guy that always wanted to look nice, but then when a scandal happened, when I knew nobody was really messing with the football players at the time, I stopped wearing Baylor stuff in general. Like I didn't go to class with Baylor shorts on, Baylor shirt on. You know, I wasn't really proud to represent Baylor at that moment because I knew what we was going through. So I will always get talked about my appearance because I always look nice. But also that goes hand in hand with, you know, your appearance matters when you're an athlete because, you know, relationships that built outside of football goes way longer than football or in sports in general, those connections that you make. And so with me, I always wanted to, you know, get off that first good impression because it means a lot. And somebody will just talk to you just because of the way you look and also will judge you off the way you look.
Yep.
Say if you need an A or a B or that little inch to pass and your professor see you and she see you come to class every day with a Munster shirt on and some slides, you know, she's not going to really think like you're not, you know, unless you're the guy on the team, you know, they still do that. But if you come there every day, you know, looking nice and being presentable and actually talking to the teachers, I mean, it's your chances are greater for someone to help you out. And so a lot of people my age do not take that serious, but it really, really goes a long way. And I'm proud to represent that, even though I got bashed for it a little bit from, you know, some people, but I know I can go back to Baylor anytime and just not be known as a football player. And that goes a long way. And there's one book that I was telling Rachel about that kept me sane. Besides that letter that I wrote to myself in 8th grade, you know, that was part of the reason why I stayed at Baylor, because I actually graduated in 3 years and I had 2 more years to go somewhere else. I had 2 more years to go somewhere else to transfer, but I decided to stick at Baylor because of that letter. And, you know, if it's for my purposes why I'm talking today, I mean, so be it. But I'm proud that I did stay. You know, it wasn't easy, but this book, it's called 4 Agreements by Don Miguel. I don't know if you guys know that book. It's called 4 Agreements. Very good author. But the 4 Agreements is being impeccable with your word. That's number 1. Don't take nothing personal. That's number 2. And don't make assumptions. Number 3. And always doing your best. And so I refer to this book. This was my book because, you know, it really got me through those years. Yeah, Matt, it really is a good book. So being impeccable with your word, just knowing what to say, you know, you speak positive come around. If you think and say negative things come around. And, you know, being in a sports environment, you need that positivity all the time, because if you don't get it, it's just going to wear you down mentally. And my 3 biggest things were don't take nothing personal. I actually wrote that down everywhere. You can ask my teammates, and coaches. I wrote it down on my steering wheel. They would ask me why it's on my steering wheel, why it's on my locker. It's because when you're in that environment, when you're in that a lot of testosterone environment, it's like it's a lot of egos, and you know, when it's a lot of lions in the room, and so people say stuff just to say stuff, but you know, if you don't take nothing personal, your emotions get out of it. And I had to learn that my junior and senior year. Once I got older, I really realized that half of the stuff, when people are mad and yelling and stuff like that, yes, everybody has that slang of coaching, but most of the time in general, just in life, when people are mad at you or yelling or something like that, it's not really because they don't like you. It's because of something that they was dealing with beforehand, and that energy just transferred on you. Half of the time it's really like that. And it's like, it took me a little while to, you know, get that, because, you know, you getting yelled at, you getting this and that. And it's like, yo, why y'all talking to me like this? Like, what did I do to y'all? I do everything you tell me to do, you know? And so it's like criticism, like you said, you know, criticism it's not always personal. It's basically somebody else telling you how they feel some of the time. But, you know, take the advice, and, you know, I learned to take the advice and take the advice that helps you the most. And that's not taking anything personal. And moving on to assumptions, for me, assumptions is based off fear, and fear is false energy appearing real. If you guys get that, false energy appearing real, that's what fear is. And I think, assumptions is fear because you're scared of what's going to happen. And when you don't make assumptions, that's another way to protect yourself mentally, because you're thinking something, you're basically creating something in your mind that it's not real. It's not. You may have an educated guess, but at the end of the day, it's not real when you assume stuff. And when you assume stuff, like I said before, it creates emotional damage mentally that's not even caught. It's not even, you shouldn't be doing it because it's created by you. You get what I'm saying? Yep. And so that was very big on me. I actually wrote that down in my room because, with football and sports, you always want to see, okay, what can I do better? Oh, what is this person talking about me? What is that person talking to me? How do they see me? But at the end of the day, going on to the last point, always do your best. That's the fourth agreement. If you're always doing your best, you can't judge yourself. You can't judge yourself if you always do your best. So if you playing basketball and you got to make 30 shots in 5 minutes, you only make 25, but you was flicking your wrist every time and following through, what else can you do? You did your best. So it's like, at the end of the day, why judge yourself? Why judge yourself? And we're our own biggest critics when we go home at night and we cope with everything we're going through. It's like, if you did your best, there's no reason to judge yourself. Yep. Yeah, we always can be better, but be in a moment. We have to learn how to be in a moment, because when a moment is over, that moment is over. It's the past already. And when you're in a collegiate sport and playing at a high level, we always tend to judge ourselves like we're not just good enough. And that's like, if you think that way, you're basically doing yourself a disservice. And at that point, you really do need to talk to somebody. I'm not saying I got to figure it out, because till this day, I still get upset about myself, me not playing in the NFL right now. About the stuff that I went through at Baylor, and my transition to the real world, it hasn't been easy. I mean, I lived with my family for a little bit. I played arena ball, signed a contract in the CFL, COVID hit, so it's been a rocky situation. But, after I was living in a hotel for about 5 months, after I got out of my family's house, because, the way I grew up, you get to a certain age and, hey, you got to go get it. At the end of the day, you just got to go get it. And so I was living in a hotel, got a hotel deal with the owner. And, that's when I decided to, start my own business. I ended up getting a coaching job, and, that worked out. But I just wanted to, start my own business and take that step to creating something and creating a legacy and a foundation for myself. And so if you guys don't know, I created VVS, Verkedric Vaughns Synergy. And synergy, that word means just everybody coming together, because we're all energy beings, and we feed off each other, and everybody just coming together, fighting and working towards a common goal. And so that's my definition of synergy. Everybody coming together, working towards a common goal, healing each other and helping each other. And so that's why I came up with that brand. But it wasn't easy, transitioning, because when you're an athlete, you've been playing football, you've been playing sports all your life. And so people do get stuck. People get stuck. And a lot of people get stuck for a lot of years. I know people that are on my team that, that haven't had a job, and they're 28 right now. And it's like, for you guys that are stuck and don't know what to do, just go find something in the meantime that'll fill that void. Like, say if you like fashion, go work at a retail store. It's not what you want to do, but go work at a clothing store. You're a nutritionist, go work at a juice bar. Just try to find stuff that'll help you transition in the meantime, so you won't keep thinking about your past trauma and stuff like that. But for me right now, like I said, you know, a lot of guys go left, they get angry, and I still get angry to this moment. Like I'm a victim of this. I get angry and I think bad thoughts, and I have to go talk to people as well, because you see in the news, it's real. When you stop playing sports, people go left. They start killing people. They start going. I've seen my teammates come to practice like on heroin. Like I've saw it before, and it's like wow. Like I've lost a teammate over mental stability. My guy Chance, RIP to him, he was my roommate, and it's like I've saw it firsthand. And that's part of the reason why it gave me the motivation to start my own business and start doing stuff that I love to do, because life is so precious. And so this past 6 months, I literally went on a traveling spree. I went to 2 different countries, went all over the US with the money I made, and said, hey, I'm just going to do what I got to do to live, because I've lost so many people in a short amount of time. And it's like, that was my coping mechanism. I'm only why I don't do drugs. I can tell you right now, I don't do drugs because when I was little, I saw my auntie and my uncle. I wanted some food, and I wanted them to feed me. And I think I was about five or six, and they literally were stone cold off crack. Ever since then, I knew what it was. I knew what drugs was because I've been around it. Ever since then, I never did drugs. So I was thankful that I was strong enough to, you know, handle that and cope differently than a lot of people. But, you know, don't be afraid. If you're an athlete, just don't be afraid to put yourself first. Put yourself first, because if you don't put yourself first, you cannot be best for your team. It's a team sport at the end of the day. But if you're not your best self, you can't be your best for the team. And so, you know, I struggled with that. I struggled with that a bunch. You know, I've always helped. I've always serviced and forgot about me. And so that pandemic year, 2020, I put me first. I put me first. And I you know, when you're in team sport, you get used to people telling you, it's a team, but it's a fine line between, putting yourself first. And I would encourage everybody on here, if you got something that's that you're dealing with, just talk. And everybody that's going to listen to this, that's not on this call, just talk, because it goes along. I actually came back a year after I graduated. Weak. You're going to seem weak. She was a lady, but you're going to seem weak. But at the end of the day, you need that. We need that, and that's our purpose, to make that stronger. And a lot of NFL guys are pushing mental health because it is a big deal. And I'm proud to be a part of this organization. And I'm proud that I had a lot of coaches that had my back through this whole transition process. Like I said, my coach is on here. He helped me out dearly. And I just want to appreciate Rachel and Trey and all of you guys for, starting this, because it's going to, like I told Rachel, I had a dream, and this is going to blow up because it's needed, not in just sports. It's needed everywhere around the world. And so I just want to thank you guys again for letting me tell my story. And if, I'll pass it on to you, Rachel. But if any of you guys want to know how to help with, the healthy way that I do, I actually take CBD. My mom's owns a CBD business, and that's actually helps me a lot with anxiety. It's legal. There's no THC, and so it's a lot of nutrition facts about CBD, not just with anxiety, with joints and everything. So I've been taking that for about 2 years now, and it's really helped me. So if you want some enlightenment on the CBD side of everything, you can also hit me about that as well.
Well, I just want to say you're preaching. I put it in there, V. You got a message. You got quite a message. Some of the takeaways that I took from him. If you'll drop other people have asked, if you'll drop your website, so everybody can support you. V and I were talking a while back, and he showed me this website, and I'm like, dang, you need to teach me. I'm like, and that's when Emma and I got on our store, but I'm like, dang, V, and I ordered some sweatpants, and I was like, look, V, I got my sweatpants, and I'm repping you. And so if you can go on there, it's so well done. And hopefully maybe you can, you're on these calls, V, but maybe you can come back on and do some business tips for people and help them kind of that branding side, starting that store and starting that brand, because I think it's amazing. Really quickly.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Really quickly, one of the things that I just want to reinforce what he said is V spoke life into himself. He wrote life to himself with a letter. He wrote things and he put things in his room. He spoke life to himself. My mom used to call it stinking thinking, right? Like when you're sick and you, whatever it is you believe, I believe in God and the devil, but if you're sick and you're, oh, I'm so sick, I'm so broke, I'm so alone, I'm wealthy, I'm blessed, I'm an overcomer, I'm a warrior, I'm a queen, I'm getting better. When you said something, I don't have it all figured out. None of us do. But I just always go beep, beep, beep. Like I'm a queen under construction. You're a king under construction. As long as you're pushing, as long as you're going, that's it. Like you just keep going, you keep pushing and you keep trying to educate yourself. And the last thing that I want to say, I'm going to turn it over to Trey for for a business tip and health and wellness. And then we'll end with Dr. Josh and Lindsay for our mental health tips. And we'll talk about our community. But I can close my eyes and go back. I'm going to cry. And I didn't even plan on this, but I can close my eyes and go back to being in that room in Baylor. And, Coach Rule, I had known him for being on Sirius with me. And we had talked about me coming there for months before I actually came. And because of some things, everything that happened to Baylor and the national media and all of those things, I had to talk. I'm not even sure I shared all this with you, but I had to go through all these levels and all these talks with people and all these interviews to get to that meeting room floor. And I believe nothing's by coincidence, right? And when I began to talk, I began to, to speak, and I could see there was a block almost on everybody in the room. And it was kind of like, who are you? Who is this? Y'all had been beat down. You've been attacked in the media. You had been. And I came in there and I said, I came to tell you that I believe in you. And I came to tell you that in this room is the next great doctor, is the next great father, is the next great author, is the next person that's going to cure cancer. We don't know. And I said, I came to tell you that I love you and I believe in you. And I called you kings. And I believe, looking back, it was one of the first places that I used the word kings, kings and queens, and something extraordinary and supernatural happened in that room. When I said, I believe in you, I came for you. You talk about power in the tongue, like these scales fell off. This block went away. And all of a sudden it was like people sat up and they were like, wait, she didn't come to yan us. She came to tell us she believes in us. She loves us. She thinks we have greatness inside of us. And that's why that person put that in that book. Thanks for coming for us. We thought the whole world forgot us. And I went on national radio and wrote articles and said, I believe I was sent there to tell the rest of the world, y'all are vilifying a whole team that had nothing to do with this. Right. And so anyway, it was one of the most amazing moments of my life. And to be able to go back and surprise them and be on the sidelines for a couple of their games and this relationship that's come out of it with V and the Baylor fans. We've got a Baylor mom on here. And so I just want to say thank you, V, because that's just like the tip of the iceberg that first day. I remember standing in front of y'all. I can see the walls. I can see the chairs. I can see y'all. And so I just want to say thank you for being you. And I'm so blessed that I got to go there and that I fought to come for y'all. And then I got to fight for y'all in terms of the national press and national media and say, no, here's who they are. And here's who I found there. And I'm just so dang proud of you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Okay. All right. Trey is going to give us, Sheila says, my son was in that room. It was powerful. It was. If I keep talking about it, I'll start crying, but happy tears, as my mom would say. But Trey's going to give us, I want to give Trey a little props real fast, y'all. I now, through another one of my King's mothers, I get to speak to ESL classes. So these are people that are here that are trying to learn English and trying to better their lives. And they've never done anything like this before, where they have somebody come in and talk to them on these classes, these Zoom classes about leadership and their soul and self-care and mental health. And Trey is now working in this arena with me. And Trey a week or so ago was able to give the most amazing presentation, got amazing feedback. And so this is what I'm changing the narrative is about, right? Like, it ain't about me. Yes, V said you got to advocate for yourself and you better love yourself enough to have boundaries, but it ain't about me, right? It's about me developing Trey and helping Trey so Trey can go out. Trey is now going and picking up kids in disadvantaged areas in the city and bringing them in and teaching them skills and inspiration and feeding them. And I'm changing the narrative. Foundation will provide grants to be able to help them continue to do that, right? And so it ain't about me. It's about V and Sariana and Emma and Matt and about everybody that's on this call. We touched something in you. V touched you tonight. And then you go out and touch somebody else, right? And you pass it on. That's what we exist for. So I'll shut up now, Trey, now that I've bragged on you a bunch.
Y'all, this ain't fair. Honestly, I can't. Y'all got V just dropped 10 bombs. Me and Matt, everybody in the group chat going crazy. Rachel, I don't know what it is, but Matt, you already know. Rachel get talking, you start to feel that little butterfly coming up. Then you feel the heat behind your eyes. And you're like, but I'm not sad. But it's like, this is good. Man, y'all just passed the mic to me. I'm just like, hold on, let me try to just process everything. But and I'm trying not to get, oh my God, it's happy tear. I'm trying not to get emotional because what everything that V said, with taking care of yourself and making time for you, and Rachel going in about like really just being a part of this great organization is all coming full circle. And it's crazy because I am the example. And I'm proud to say that of when you plug in, you want to genuinely do something bigger than yourself, and you consistently work at it. For y'all that don't know, years ago, Rachel came and spoke East Carolina. Coach Scotty Montgomery came in 2017. And she gave a speech just like V for y'all, she did for us. I reached out and I just was like, yo, this was dope. I love it. And she told me, she said, Trey, whatever it is that you want to do, just change the narrative in it. Just like find something like that you want to do and just use this platform to go change people's lives. And I did that, y'all. I did it. I worked at it. Like, I got help with it. I was blessed from it. And today I got to share my message with other people. So V, like, keep sharing and keep participating. Stay plugged in. The reason why I go to the Monday calls, I missed one because I was serving these kids. Mine went crazy. Got 15 kids from the hood. We just pulled up. I got my gym open, told them, hey, y'all come. Don't worry about nothing. We'll find money to pay for it. But like, you gotta just keep going. That story that you got, V, is gonna change a lot of lives. I go to the Monday calls just so I can stay plugged into the energy. I stay on the Thursday call every month to stay plugged into the energy, because that energy is what we all seek to grow and love and change. Because we're not gonna get it from nowhere else. You're not gonna. And here's the thing. Now, you're a faith believer. Like, a lot of people have spirituality with their faith, but then there's also just this spirituality within us that comes from people connecting and people loving each other. So I was supposed to give a business tip, but my tip right now, my wife called me, I declined. Mary, praise the Lord. My tip for y'all is plug into this organization in whatever capacity, she called me again, that is allotted. Sharing posts, joining calls, whatever it is that how Change the Narrative has connected you or touched you, find a way, plug in, because ever since I have, my life has been changed forever. And now thousands of people have heard and will continue to hear the words that are important to me. Whew. Y'all, that joke was hard to say without trying to let it fly. But anyways, real quick, like I said, V, I used to have nightmares about, I call it a nightmare. I would dream that I was in the NFL, that I had tightened my cleats up, that I had my helmet, shoulder pads on, I was about to go to practice, and I would wake up and it would be gone. And I would start shaking a little bit. That was a nightmare. It was a beautiful dream, but it was a nightmare at the same time. And I dealt with that when I graduated. And I told myself that it's okay to have high expectations with going forward with life, but you also got to have high grace. High expectations equal high grace, because had I not had my high expectations, obviously I wouldn't continue to push hard, but without grace, I would beat myself up so bad that I would have missed this. Like, I would have missed the thing that God was really preparing me for, because he didn't want me to go to the NFL to go and do what I wanted to do, what Trey wanted to do. He wanted me to be here when I helped a little boy who has never seen the sport of fencing, and he's never been in a camp, and his family couldn't afford it, that I was here to do that today. So, man, y'all, everything that you do in your life, business, life, work, family, love, all that, go far, shoot for the stars. And if you don't hit it, just keep going. Just reset another goal. And if it's the same goal, just keep going. I want to make 300K this year. I don't know how it's going to happen. If I make 200, I'm not going to cry. If I make 200, I ain't going to cry. I'm going to be fine. Somebody told me this. They was like, Trey, you act like you're not making $1 million. You're like, you're not going to be good tomorrow. Everybody in this call is blessed. No matter where you are, the people really struggling, you blessed. You could easily be on the other side, whatever that is. He said, it's not like you're going to wake up tomorrow and not know what you're going to eat. We're not struggling with that right now, right? People are. I'm not going to go too much in, right? So I'm supposed to get some business tip, and we're supposed to be talking. I had a lot on my heart. Matt over here firing us up in the group chat. But love y'all, and continue to change your narrative, whatever that is for you. And Rachel, I appreciate you allowing me to share real quick.
Oh, of course. And I just want to say very quickly, this wraps up what he's talking about wraps up into a business tip. You got on here a very successful and dogged salesman in Matt. You've got somebody who created a brand in Verkedric, right? And it's beautiful. The website's beautiful, right? You got somebody in Trey who created a business, had every reason for the business to fail during the pandemic. And then what did he and his wife do? They pivoted and they said, okay, we're going to go online. People need us. People are going to be at home. They're going to be overeating. They're going to be eating bad. They're going to be stuck indoors. We're going to start training them from our apartment. They're going to do, and they have dreams and they have goals, and they're going for, in your life, no matter where you are. If you need inspiration, motivation, we're about to hear from Dr. Josh and Lindsay. You've got people within this community on these calls every month that, one, want to be your friend, and two, if you need a business resource, you got a business resource. I'm only smart because I go to somebody and say, am I doing that the right way? Do I need to go another way? Am I looking for funding everywhere we need to go? Do I need to go to this grant? Do I need to, hey, will you watch my talks? Is there something else I need to talk to? I ask afterwards, after my talks, is there something I could have touched on or done? You got to listen back to yourself. You got to be able to edit yourself. It's uncomfortable as heck. I don't like listening to myself, but I recognize, I was a little rusty when I came out of, from the first in-person. So my point is, you stay plugged in. We've got resources here. And in this, I've been wanting to say this for a while, and I am really going to cry now, but part of the reason why we started PALS was because of V's teammate. And then we had another teammate, another young man at UAB that took another person's life over earbuds. And Baylor and UAB are two of my former programs. And I just thought, my God, if this happened with these two, imagine how many other people are suffering silently. Let's create a free resource for people that, whether they can come live or later, can access it for mental health, business, finance, inspiration, community, the whole 9 yards. And Emma's done an amazing job of creating a Discord community, a WhatsApp community. We can get all of that information to you. We'll start to do the newsletters. But I just wanted to say this. I don't think I'm going to go tomorrow, but after my mama passed away, I started to think about my own mortality and what would happen to I'm changing the narrative if I died. And so all I'm saying is, I hope I get many, many, many more years on this planet, but if something happened to me and God called me home, y'all keep this going, keep it going and spread it far and wide, and keep changing the narrative and keep changing lives and keep telling people what this has meant to you and what it's lit up inside of you. And that's all I wanted to say. So that's been on my heart, and been thinking about it for a long time. I've told my team as well. And that is why we are now, we're sending Trey out. I told V, I'll help you. We'll send you out. And whoever else wants to speak, we'll send you out there. Sariana's creating her own brand. She's doing some social media, amazing things. So you're all doing great things. And so I love you. And I'm going to shut up so we can keep it under an hour. And we'll do ladies first. Lindsay, I'd love if you'd share some tips for us to help us keep our sanity, and not just our sanity, but help us not only survive, but to thrive.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I am so proud of everyone, and I am so grateful to be on this call. And thank you, V, for sharing your story. That was super powerful and super awesome that you're able to share that way. And you are going to touch so many people's lives just from this talk. I can't wait for this to be posted. You said a lot of things. So to be quick, because there's not much time left, I was going to introduce another one of my concepts, but after all the talk, just like Trey, I think that what I want to say is something that's really helped me. And I think a lot of what V was saying and what we're all saying is the power of positivity. And it's a simple concept, but it is so powerful. And something I've studied so much is the power of language and positivity. So being kind to yourself and using that positive language, not only to others, but to yourself. And so just be mindful of that. And my major tip is for everyone, if you don't do it already, start a gratitude journal. When you wake up in the morning, grab a journal. Mine is literally under my pillow here, but it's start a gratitude journal. And if at first it has to be simple, write 3 things as soon as you wake up that you are grateful for. And the reason this is so powerful is when you are grateful, when you are in a state of gratitude, the universe, the world, the universe is able to give to you. And that's what you're calling. You have desires, you have passions. We all have something to give the universe. So when you wake up grateful, you are starting your day in a state of gratitude, and everything is able to come to you. And then exactly what V said, I saw that Matt wrote, he has 2 boards in his room. Everyone purchase a whiteboard. They're $5 at CVS.
Yes.
Put your goals on there, put whatever, all the great things that V was saying, put them on your whiteboard, look at them, see them, put them on your steering wheel. V, I love what you did. And I preach that to every single person that I talk to, not only clients, everyone, my family, my friends, everyone. Put it out there and use the power of positivity, not only for yourself, but for the world. Write it down and make things happen, because that's how things happen. That's my tip. I love you guys also. I'm so grateful for every single person on this call.
And Lindsay, will you put your contact information in the chat? I'm also going to save the chat as well. And we will put your contact information when we send out the link through the email. We'll put your contact information there, and also Dr. Josh. So what I'd love to do, if it's okay, Dr. Josh, if you'll bring us home, I'd love for you to do that. But Jeremy Newsome, who is our financial expert and amazing, he had a slight emergency, but this king busted his you-know-what to be here tonight. And so normally he comes about the middle of the call, but I'm just so thankful to him that he would come on and join us. So if we can hear from Jeremy quickly, and then Dr. Josh, you can bring us home if that would be okay.
Yeah, that'd be so incredible. Thank you, Rachel. I love your energy. I love your generosity and your commitment to this program and to helping the mental health of not only players, but everyone improve their life. And team, this is just an honor and a privilege to be here and to be a part of this group and this committee and this team and this liaison to just help so many human beings. So my tip for this particular week, for this particular section about finance, 2 very intriguing things I want you to write down. I'm sure all of you have grasped this to an extreme degree, but just in case, there is a difference between liabilities and assets. So a liability is something that you will purchase that will bring 0 money into your life. Now, you can, with the right mindset, change anything from a liability into an asset, but you have to have the right mindset about it. So, for example, a house, most of the time, is actually a liability. Now, I own homes, and I absolutely encourage everyone to have a home ownership, but be thinking of how this house can provide income. For example, could you rent out part of it for an Airbnb, right? I know a lot of people that do that. If you don't want to do that, that's absolutely okay. But could you host cooking classes if you're a professional chef? Could you host workout events in your garage or gym? Could you have people come over where you have a book club, right? Your network is your net worth. Can you connect with people and have discussions and conversations that can elevate your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul? So be able to turn anything that you have into an asset if you want to. Just like a car, right? A comic book collection, a movie collection, anything can be an asset. But there is a massive difference between liabilities and assets. Most individuals in their life will accumulate liabilities over time. They will buy couches, they will buy TVs, they will buy cars, they'll buy watches, they'll buy clothes, they'll buy hats, they'll buy shoes, they'll buy all kinds of things that they might not specifically need. And they haven't figured out how to turn that into an asset, something that actually can bring in income. Another example, if you purchase shoes, right? Are they collector's editions or are they running shoes? And if you go run a bunch and your heart and your health becomes better because you're running a lot, you start meeting better people, you start increasing your elevation, you start increasing your mind, you start increasing your thought patterns because running helps you obviously think better and learn better and study better. Everything can become an asset. But always remember, when you are purchasing something, ask yourself, how can this be turned or leveraged into something that can actually bring in not only income, but positive vibes into my life? And that, my friends, is an asset. Every single person here can be purchasing assets over liabilities in their day-to-day, week-to-week, and month-to-month purchases.
Hey, Jeremy, I just want to say something before you jump off. So I spent the last 4.5 months writing a book proposal, and I paused for a moment and I started on Jeremy's free, listen to me, there is zero excuse, y'all listen to me, real life trading. He has training to not only teach you about the stock market, to teach you about how to understand it, how to invest, how to do all these things. And I don't care if you have $5, $500, $5,000, it doesn't matter. And it's free, real life trading. The only reason I paused, I started it, but then I paused and said, your number one goal right now, Rachel, is to finish that book proposal. Head down, book proposal. I finished it. So you know where I'm going back to? Real life trading. Real life trading, totally free. I love a person. The reason why I love Jeremy so much, he ain't trying to sell you nothing. He's like, look, I got knowledge, just like we at I'm Changing the Narrative Kings and Queens, and we want to put it out in the world. We want to throw the rope back for people. We want to help other people. So I'm telling you, there's no excuse, real life trading. So anyway, enough of that. I can brag on you all night.
Sorry, phones are being very, very weird. I cannot wait to read this book, Rachel. You are a very inspiring writer. All of your posts just jack me up and light up my heart every single time you get on social media. Never stop that. And I love your haircut, by the way. You look amazing.
Thank you, my friend. All right. I appreciate you. Jeremy Newsom, Assets versus Liabilities, guys. And Dr. Josh Claypo, our resident psych, is going to, and I'm changing there, to bring us home. This man, I call him my Jewish mother. He keeps me sane. I checked in a couple of weeks ago on the side of the road, having myself a just emotional let out, a little bit of a breakdown. And I told him everything that was going on in my life. And so he helps me literally. I'm not gonna say on a daily basis, but I do lots and lots of check-ins with him. So I would love for you to bring us home, Dr. Josh, and tell us what you have on your heart and some tips that you think could help all of us.
Sure. Trey, I was just going to tell you, I feel you. Following Rachel is always hard, but then following Rachel and then you and then Lindsay and then Jeremy, I was sitting here going, oh my God, what am I? There's nothing for me to say. There's nothing left. So I wrote a couple of things down, and I promise I will get us done and I'll bring us home quickly. One is just sort of aside on what Lindsay was saying, because I think this is so important about the gratitude piece. One of the things we know, if you're not a positive person by nature, I am not one, for example. I'm a cynical guy, is not positive. One of the things we know from the research is that if you force yourself to think of those three things that you're grateful for, you don't have to wake up and feel grateful. If you sit down and make your brain think of anything that you're grateful for, if you do that regularly over time, you can learn to be more optimistic. And there's lots of health benefits of being optimistic. So I know V talked about the positivity, Lindsay, but this is something you can train yourself. So it's not like either or. That's the one thing. The other thing, when I heard V, the thing that I don't know V, the thing that I was so taken was when he talked about being tough. And I think one of the most difficult things that we see as psychologists is we see some of the most courageous behavior that nobody else gets to see because it's behind closed doors. And so when someone like V talks about a year later seeing a therapist, somebody like a football player who says that and shows courage, that's a message that has to get out. And so I wrote this down as he was talking, because this is sort of the cycle that I think we deal with in mental health, but also in physical health. You know, first we think that we're not hurting. There's nothing wrong with us. Then we're afraid that something is hurting. Then we know we're hurting, but we're afraid to do anything or say anything. And then we think that it's too late to heal. And it's only too late to heal if you're not here. And, you know, sadly, some people don't make it there to heal. But this message that it's courageous to take care of yourself and your mental health, courageous, some of the bravest acts you can ever engage in. And B, that it really is not too late. It's great for me to say it, and I do all over the place. But we need lots of folks to say it. We need the people on this call to say it. We need people who are not just mental health professionals to say it, because that kind of courage is what allows you to be successful, not just with your mental health, but in life. And that's what's so important, is that we have to look at our emotions and our mental health as something that is a courageous accomplishment, not something that is a weakness or a second priority. And D, I just wanted to tell you, I know I said this to you in the chat, you saying that carries so much weight, more weight than anybody like me could ever carry. And that's why everybody needs to communicate that message. That puts us at 7:58, and I'm gonna stop there.
And for everybody who's on here for the first time, it's the third Thursday of the month. Third Thursday of the month, correct, Emma?
Yes.
7-8 Eastern. It's always the third Thursday. Block them out. Go ahead and do it on your calendar every Thursday of the month. Wherever you are, we have people sit in cars. We have people sit in the park. Wherever you are, if you can't be here, that's great. Commit to sharing it when it's recorded. I'm so grateful for all of you guys. Let's get that link out to the Discord. But what Emma's cooked up is we have PALS merchandise. And if you have been on these calls more than 2 months, we want to give you a coupon to be able to order a piece of PALS merchandise, a hat, a shirt, a mask, a keychain, whatever it is. And we want you to take your picture in it. This V probably knows all this with his branding. And we want you to be proud to be a PAL, to be a player alignment liaison. I don't care if you're a mentor, you're a parent, you're an athlete, a former athlete, a mentor. You are, if you're on here, you're a PAL, you're a player alignment liaison. You care about athletes, former and present, and want those that are to come. And so we want to do that. So on the next meeting in July, we'll be providing that coupon. And we might even, if we have time, we're in the middle of getting Sunday Soul launched again this Sunday with another inspirational guy. I'm going to shut up because it's 9:02, but this guy named Mr. Kenny started a brand, Dad, How Do I, before the pandemic, to teach people that didn't have dads, to teach them how to do things. He grew his brand to 2 million followers on YouTube during the pandemic. Don't you tell me you can't do what you were put on this earth to do.
Correction.
It may not be in the way. What's that?
Correction, 3 million, 3.5 million.
3 million. 3 million. Okay. So you hear me?
Yeah,
and he's like, he's like, I'm just a salesperson. I'm not even I'm not even like, he's so cute. You're going to see him on Sunday, 3 Central, 4 Eastern. our new season. Y'all, I started Sunday Soul during the pandemic because I missed being a sportscaster and having interviews. And now here we are in season 4. Season 4. I mean, it's insane what you can do if you put your mind to it. So that kicks off this Sunday. We will get you the information. If this is your first call, come on your next month, and that'll be your second call. And we will give you the coupon to be able to order yourself a piece of merchandise. And then all we ask of you is to wear it proudly, talk about it, tag us, so that we can, and be proud to be a pal. Be proud to be a pal. There is, that we know of, from a high school, collegiate, college, just all of us together wrapping arms around each other. There's nobody else out there doing what we're doing. And so we are really, really happy to be a resource and be a group and be a team and be a community. And I just love you guys, and I'm very thankful for you. Okay, guys, have a wonderful night. I love you guys. We will be in touch with this Discord information, and I hope you have a wonderful night. And here's the thing, my friend Tim Shaw always says, he says, and Jeremy knows about Tim. I've known him for years. One of the youngest players diagnosed with ALS, and in the NFL, played for the Titans, and amazing. He speaks with a computer now, amazing individual, dear friend of mine. He said, I can move you, but if you don't go do nothing with it when you leave, if you don't go apply it in your life, if you don't do anything with what I taught you, then it's for nothing. I don't want to just move you to tears. I want to move you to action. So let what Trey said, what V said, what Lindsay said, what Josh said, what everybody on this call tonight poured into you and in the chat, because everybody here, Matt's pouring in, everybody's pouring, like what everybody poured in and you showing up, go do something with it. That's the thing. Go do something. So I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful night. And I'll be talking to you before then, but we'll see everybody in 1 month. Have a great night, guys.